Hey everybody, this is James and welcome to Orange Juice. Before we get another rambling episode of Riley, Tyrell, and myself talking about ourselves, go figure, I just wanted to say a huge thank you. Thank you to all of you who have already conveyed such positive feedback and shown us support on our various social medias, namely YouTube and Facebook. We really appreciate your feedback and support, and we hope the episodes, including this one and the ones to come, will repay the favor and encourage you back. We have a lot of fun making this show, and we hope you have just as much fun as we do making it and talking about random stuff. Also, if you have suggestions of things that we can talk about or articles we can look at and talk about, like we do today, please share or comment either on Facebook or YouTube. All right, on with the show. In today's episode, we share our thoughts on the issue of patience, which evolves into chatter about friendships, how we relate to other people on a personal level, and the most important issue of them all, what movies have made us cry. You know, the deep stuff. We hope you enjoy our conversation today, and we look forward to hearing your feedback and suggestions. Now, to start things off, here's Riley telling Tyrell and I a story about one time when he was changing a light bulb.
Extension ladder on top of the choir risers. Yeah. And I was up there, and I was sticking a... I was being really stupid. I didn't unplug it, and then I decided to stick not a wrench, a screwdriver in it, and it zapped me, and it's 15 amps, and I dropped the screwdriver, and I almost fell off the ladder. I was like, wow, almost died there.
Do you have superpowers now?
No, I thought my heart was beating a little funny though, but it's fine. I was a little scared. It's all good. Good story though, right?
Yeah, it was a good story. And now the intro's playing. I like how Riley, you're bobbing your head to a song you can't hear.
Is it still going?
No, it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's done. Awesome. Well, to those of you listening, welcome. Welcome to Orange Juice.
Yay.
Welcome to the show. Yay! Woo! We were going to shorten the name to OJ, but, it just didn't fit. Thanks for the pity laugh, Tyrell. We rehearsed this. We rehearsed it, so we...
Nothing is real.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is scripted.
As you could probably already tell, everybody's here. Well, by everybody, I mean the three of us.
And Jesus.
And Jesus, yes.
Mm-hmm.
In case you're new to the show, my name is James. I'm here with my two friends, Tyrell
Sup?
and Riley.
Hey.
We are friends, right?
Well, you still haven't filled out the paperwork he keeps sending you.
Right.
Your secretary says he doesn't need to fill this out.
Mm-hmm.
No, you do. In order to actually be friends, you got to fill out the paperwork, request the certain documentation. It's a process. You're just not doing it.
Then that secretary happens to be my mom. So,
yeah.
So it's just,
you are paying her, right?
It is. It's just kind of an awkward. Yeah. No. It's just. Yeah. I gotta bureaucratic nonsense I got to deal with.
Oh, okay.
So don't feel bad. It's just it's not you. It's the system.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Flawed.
Yeah.
We're friends.
We're friends.
Yeah.
Cool.
We don't need paperwork.
Wait, it can be that simple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
I can only imagine what your childhood must have been like.
You would like to play this game called Hopscotch?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that chalk meets health and safety standards. So I need you to fill out this work hazard pay forms, and I need you to go through this seminar about how to properly draw on the ground with chalk so you don't hurt your back. So why are you walking away? Come back! Oh!
There's a quiz on if you know all the Wemyss symbols. A triangle means this. A octagon means this. Yeah. So we're here. We're hanging out. We're gonna just talk, and Tyrell's drinking
Nice.
water.
I just finished my water. So.
You think it's water, but
I know it's water. I'm looking at it.
well, it's in a green bottle.
Could be another clear liquid.
Yeah, there's a lot of clear liquids out there.
No, I know it's water. I took a little sip earlier. So, and I produce a lot of spit. Tyrell.
Surprise.
Oh, okay.
So that.
Oh, that's what that extra flavor was. Like, I was
Yeah.
noticing like a kickback in the flavor, like a little bit of like corn, a little touch of curry.
I'm not even gonna respond to that. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna. I sent you guys an article, and we can kind of start with that and see where it ends up. For those of you listening, that particular article will be linked in whatever place.
The
URLs.
thing in the place and stuff.
Yeah, URLs go.
We
if
can
you're-
send you a hand-typed letter of the URL if you really want.
You can do that. I'm not gonna do that.
QR codes.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea.
We can hand-type a QR code, send it to you.
Ooh, that'd take a long
Again,
time.
you can do that, or you can attempt to do that. Anyway, this article was put out by Relevant Magazine. They're a magazine. They're a magazine I subscribe to as much as you can subscribe to magazines nowadays. Relevant's focus is mostly on, faith. Their tagline on Facebook is "The magazine about faith, culture, and intentional living."
Nice.
Yeah,
That's good.
thanks for that. I was hoping for more ums and ahs, but that's fine.
Zaz.
We could do it again. if
Okay.
you want. Yeah. So their tagline on the web on Facebook is "The magazine about faith, culture, and intentional living."
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
That brought a tear to my eye.
Thank
That
you.
is amazing.
Awesome.
We're not paid for this.
And they post some really interesting articles just about stuff. It isn't all like,
Check out these cat videos.
yeah, or 7 things that all youth pastors do. Although they do some stuff like that, and it's
Yeah.
mostly like
Parody. Dumb
parody.
things.
Like,
Check out these silly Christian album covers. What?
yeah, or old church signs.
Yeah.
Like I saw one the other day. It wasn't on Relevant. It was one of the comedians I follow on the social medias. It was on a church sign. It said CH, like a big space between it. What's missing? Question mark. You are. Yeah, so it was funny. Anyway, the article title is "Christians Need to Recover the Lost Art of Patience." It's a continuous work in progress. So even though the article is kind of pointed at Christians specifically, and the Tyler Edwards, the writer of the article, focuses. He brings in Bible verses and that sort of thing to kind of look at the biblical and spiritual side of things. I thought it was really interesting in more ways than one. For those of you that are listening, you can read the article yourself. Again, we'll link it. But I want to hear your thoughts on the article, assuming you had the patience to read through the whole
Can you
thing.
summarize it in like 140 characters?
Yes, a Twitter quote.
A Twitter quote?
Yeah, just condense.
Okay, let me see here.
You're gonna try to find it.
Let's see. Christians need to recover the lost art of patience. That's
See, I feel like that's not catchy
Why?
enough.
that's the title of the article.
You need to throw in some emojis and some kind of slang. Christians need to recover the lost art of patience. Smiley face, laughing face, fleek.
Fleek.
Yeah.
We did-
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Let's make a rule that Tyrell is no longer allowed to say fleek on this podcast.
Fleek. I want to know what fleek is.
They're and now we're gonna be charged with copyright. Thanks, Tyrell. Yeah. So Tyler talks about instant gratification, how our culture is kind of fueled towards that, and what patience actually looks like. How it's it's more perseverance as opposed to just waiting for things. And he goes and gives some examples. Talks about patience in relationships and different forms that can take. And then he talks about biblical applications or biblical evidence, and kind of gives a final cry for patience is dying. We need to do something about it. But yeah, again, I'd like to hear your thoughts, and then we can discuss.
Well, I skimmed it.
Thanks for being honest.
Yeah. I was just reading. I was like, I probably should stop skimming it. This seems very relevant to the action I'm doing right now. And I was like, skipped another couple paragraphs or two. So I think that suggests a lot of where I'm at. I've noticed that a lot, though. My ability just to like focus or rest for something. Like if a YouTube video is taking too long, I just skip out because like this is ridiculous. Like, what do you think I got? Like hours and hours? Like I got no time for this. Get to the point of YouTube video. Go, go, go. But then I should just wait. Learn to stop. I mean, you were talking about not just waiting, but you know, it is an important thing to wait, to be able to be calm.
Yeah. I've noticed that too. Like I get annoyed at YouTube ads, but mostly because the ads are dumb.
Yeah.
But then there's also that idea of gratification where I want to watch this video. You know, I've actually noticed in videos that I watch on YouTube, the editing is changing. The style
It's
of
more
editing
boom, 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 boom.
to try to engage audiences for as long as possible, because that's actually how YouTube creators make of course, fraction of their revenue, if they're using the partner program, is from subscribers and that sort of thing. But it's mostly based on views, and views are only based on rather than watching a whole video, it's like maybe like 3/4. If you, that is considered view if somebody watches it maybe 3/4 of the way through. So editing styles are changing in the contemporary medium that tries to entice viewers for longer. Like, for example, there's a YouTube channel I watch. They do vlogs and they do behind the scenes videos. They're Corridor Digital for anybody that's interested. They do really cool special effects videos, and they'll do behind the scenes on how they how they shot some stuff, the effects that they use, programs, this and that. It's really, really interesting. But they'll have little narratives throughout each vlog, but rather than, okay, here's the narrative and then resolve it and then move on to a new narrative in a video, they'll jump between, okay, we're showing this person here doing this, we're going to jump to another person doing something else, but then we'll come back to that later. So that just kind of shows that this idea of enticing people and keeping people watching is changing. Yeah.
Nice.
Riley, what did you think about the article?
I also skimmed it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. No, I thought it was good. I liked how he was talking about how, I don't know, patience in relationships is important. Like, I'm a married guy, and I can really attest to that. Like, if my wife and I are having a disagreement about something, and I'm extremely impatient when she's talking or whatever, and I cut her off, well, that's not a very good thing for me to do. And I might be dead the next day. But no, I think it's a huge thing. He talks about 1 Corinthians 13 and how that's a book in the Bible, and how it talks about patience is one of the first things when he mentions love. Love is patient, and there's a reason for that. And I can really truly attest to that. Being a married guy, I've really understood the idea of just making sure that I'm not only looking after myself. And he talks about that, like patience is being impatient can reveal our selfishness and sometimes our greed. And you have to read the article to fully understand where he's coming from, but I can really attest to that. And in order to be loving, I have to be patient. So that's kind of what really, I read that whole part there. Actually read it, I didn't skim that part, and I can really relate to that. And I thought it was really interesting in my own personal marriage relationship, but I think in also other relationships as well. He kind of goes into that a little bit. But if we're talking and I don't want to listen to you, James, because we're friends now.
Yep. It's official.
Yeah, it's official. If I'm not going to be patient with the way that you're describing something or whatever, and I just want to tell you my opinion and my thoughts over and over and over, that's not really a two-sided relationship. That's more of a one-sided relationship. And it's I'm giving and giving and giving and wanting you to accept everything that I'm saying. And I feel like sometimes if patience is lacking in a relationship, the relationship can definitely suffer.
Yeah.
So, no, that's how I kind of. Yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, one thing I've really learned over the past while is that life is relational. Some people. Granted, I am an extrovert. I own that. I own that label, and I use it properly, Tyrell. Don't you get all judgmental with your words?
The judgment's happening. It's just silent.
I used to think I know what an extrovert and introvert were until Tyrell corrected me. Tyrell, would you like to explain?
Please
Well,
Just so I know that I'm right.
an extrovert is somebody who more or less gains energy from being around people. It's not like a very strict binary like we seem to love here in North America. We love our binaries. But it's more like you gain more energy than you spend, per se, in a group setting. Of course, that changes depending on context or whatever. And then introverts just the opposite. You burn more energy than you gain in group settings and stuff like that. And then introverts need time alone to recharge, whereas extroverts can recharge by being in group settings. And of course, people of anywhere in the middle or near one extreme or the other need time alone or in groups to recharge or to have stress relief or whatever. But that's more or less what it means. It doesn't mean an extrovert is not someone who's outgoing. They're outgoing introverts. There are awkward, shy extroverts. There's whatever. It's just, that's all they are. Yeah.
And that was word lessons with Tyrell. That's our new segment that we're gonna start. No. So now after you schooled me on what it actually meant, I can identify as an extrovert because I draw energy from when I hang out with people, and even like if I'm having a bad day or I'm tired, I find that I'm actually charged up, like I'm energized when I'm around people. But yeah, I need kind of going back to what you were saying. It's not totally binary. I need to be by myself sometimes too, right? So it isn't completely exclusive in my case. Anyway, like I said, I found that life is really relational. Like I can't go anywhere and not interact with someone else, and that's just the way life is. So I have to kind of challenge myself to stop getting so annoyed and impatient with people when you're just getting impatient at people in general, because I'm being inconvenienced or because I feel like it really comes down to me laying down standards for other people, which in itself is selfish and stupid. Like I'll be at work, or for example, and maybe someone will do something that annoys me, and my first instinct, of course, and you kind of, and that was talked about in the article too, it's kind of instinctual to, get annoyed or get impatient, because that's just the way we are. But I can get annoyed at somebody, but when I really think about it, well, why am I annoyed? Well, it's because, again, I was either inconvenienced, or maybe this person didn't do something up to my own standard of whatever the task or whatever it is. I can't hold people up to a standard, because then that totally counteracts my you hear people say all the time, like, nobody knows you, you be you, and don't let anybody else tell you who you are. That is totally the opposite of that mentality, that people need to meet my standard. And I found that I have that mentality just naturally, and I know I'm not the only one, where I don't care what other people think of me, but I am so judgmental when it comes to other people. You know what I mean? It's just it's a really toxic mentality to really to let it control you, because then you become that, bitter, just impatient, complaining all the time person, but you just become toxic to be around. But yeah, it all comes down, we have to interact with people on a regular basis, and if we just are always so edgy and aren't willing to give people time, and kind of what you were saying, Riley, the love aspect of it, and we're not talking romantic love.
True.
Yeah. I love you, man. Biblically, love is defined as more than just romantic. There, of course, is romantic love. Christians do feel emotions. In case you're of.
I'm so hurt.
Yeah, in case there's people that are.
When you get baptized, your emotion unit is removed.
Yeah. Washes downstream. Yeah, no. So there is different types of love. There's romantic love. There's this sort of thing. But there's family love. To to people that are not related, but like can be friends and they can love each other. Basically, what love means is not strictly attraction, and that's something that people still get kind of mixed up in other capacities. Attraction is definitely a part of romantic love, but love, yeah, kind of what you were saying before, Riley. It's active. You know, it requires action. You know, like if I care about like despite all the paperwork, if Tyrell and I, you know, we're friends, I will, you know, so into our relationship, or into our friendship, and we'll like, you know, spend time with each other, hang out and talk, and you know, hey, is everything okay? You know, or if you know that sort of thing. But that's love, you know. I felt I kind of derailed the conversation.
No, that's fine. It kind of does relate to like, sorry, earlier you were talking about setting standards on people. It kind of reminded me like impatience can also be kind of like a control thing. Like you want to be able to control what you get and when you get it. And it just reminded me of one of my relatives talking about this time him and his wife were going on a trip. I can't remember where, but it's international somewhere. And they're at this big airport. And so they go to the one flight, transfers over, then they transfer over to this huge airport. They get there, they're like, oh, all of your luggage is lost and your flight has been delayed like 300 billion hours. So his wife just starts freaking out, like is trying to call people, is stressed, and she's like, oh, like she's trying to like yell at the poor person is trying to like do their job, and just like, where's our luggage, and blah blah blah, like all these things, just trying to get everything right. And he just sits down, relaxes, grabs a magazine, and she comes over and yells at him, and she's like, what are you doing? Like she's like, well, I can't control any of this, so I'll just wait.
Sure. That's interesting, because when I was I was thinking about a time that I was impatient, and there's many times, unfortunately, becoming more self-aware of it, which is a good thing. But I was just driving, and my wife and I were going to Starbucks, and maybe it's because I didn't have my coffee yet, but there was construction on the road, and the one lane was closed, and you know how like the one lane merges into the next lane, and the one lane is really slow, and the other lane kind of goes a little further. I was in the slow lane, and I was getting impatient, and I was getting pretty upset, and I was sitting with my wife, who is definitely the better half of me, and she puts on this, like, I can't even remember, I think it was a Shakira song or whatever, and she starts singing and dancing, and she's like, same thing, it's like, we can't control this. We can't do anything. Let's make the best of it. Let's have a good time together. And just that was a moment in my life where I was like, oh, man, I wish I could just be like that. And I wonder why I'm so impatient about this. I still think it had to do with the fact that I wanted coffee, but I wasn't 100% sure. But no, that I think when you surround yourself with people who are, you know, in this case more patient than you can learn from them, and I think that's an important thing to know is hey, my wife is much more patient than me. What can I learn from her? And I guess it's turning on Shakira and dancing.
Does that apply to all situations?
Oh, absolutely.
You're feeling impatient?
Yes, just turn on Shakira or some sort of dance music and start dancing. You know, the cashier in front of you is, you know, trying to get a number or whatever.
Slowly put your headphones in and
start dancing.
Yeah, it's interesting too, the idea of control. Like, again, that's kind of another big thing that I've been learning is life is out of my control. You know, and I'm learning that more and more, that I'm not the one driving. I'm more of a passenger, but I have some say.
So you're a backseat driver?
Speaking of impatience, yeah. No, control. That's interesting.
Backseat driving. I am guilty of that. My roommate will be driving somewhere. I'll be in this passenger seat, and he's about to make a turn that's like a few minutes more inefficient than the way I want to go. So I just tell him, and then I do it. I'm like, and I am the jerk. I'm sorry.
See, I'm similar, but I get really anxious when I drive, but also when I ride with people, and I'm not going to name names, But if I'm riding with people that are maybe a little more reckless than other drivers,
I'm so sorry, James.
I said I wasn't gonna mention any names.
Was one of them my name? You can be honest.
Anyways, yeah, no, I'll get really anxious and then I'll be like, I'll make noises like that, or I'll grab the handle, just kind of slowly.
There's a name for that. Anyways.
I know what it is. I know. I was thinking that, but I'm not gonna say it out loud. Yeah.
Anyways.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I get really anxious, and I'll find myself maybe not like okay. Here's a story. I hope she's okay with me telling this story, but a friend of ours who shall remain nameless, we were driving one night. It was actually Canada Day, and we had seen the fireworks, and we were all going home, and she was driving a couple of us home, and driving out of the parking lot down in Henderson is just a pain because there's so many cars, right? So you got to kind of patient. You got to be patient. You got to let people in. You got to do this and that, but most people don't. But she was gonna turn in and merge onto kind of where all the cars were going, but she went a little fast for my liking, and I kind of panicked and I went because she almost ran into a garbage can, at least from my point of view. and she's like, what? She starts panicking, like, what? I was like, nothing. Yeah. So that's my backseat driving. That's what I contributed.
Good to know.
Yeah. So if you ever hear that, and
So what you're saying is, if I'm not hearing those noises, I'm not driving right.
No, it's that if you hear those noises, that means you're not driving safe according to my standards that I place upon on you. That's
on me specifically.
Yeah, that's how I feel like I'm in control. Oh, do you like change?
Well, I mean, it's kind of nice to have in your wallet because you never know when you need like a parking meter or something. But yeah,
I've been left
not
so
bad.
many times without money, and then I get like a $5 parking ticket. $10.
30, 50.
You had to think about it. $400.
Yeah. I like change.
Really?
Yeah. I know I'm kind of, against the grain on that one, but I like change.
What?
I like what?
Yeah. Sorry. What about it?
I don't know. I like learning. I enjoy always learning something, and I enjoy I like the thrill of change. I like the excitement that it brings, because I find if I personally sit and I do something for too long, I get bored of it, and I don't enjoy it anymore. So I have to go and do something else to renew that enjoyment factor. And I know a lot of people, they like to find something, get settled in it, and they're good with that. I find something, get settled in it, and I get bored.
Yeah.
And then I need to go find something new. So change in my mind, as long as I find, for me though, it's change that I initiate. If somebody else initiates change that I don't approve of or that I'm not like happy with, then it's a different story.
Do you think that's a control thing?
Oh, absolutely a control thing.
I was about to start on that. Like, if I know the change is coming, I know it's going to change too, and can either be a part of it or just kind of wait till it be over, then I'm fine with it because I know it's going to happen. I know, but if it's sudden change that I didn't know about or something that I don't like it.
Yeah.
I like it if it's change that I'm like not certain about, but if I actually disagree with the change or I don't like the change, then I enjoy it less, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same too. Like there's certain things that don't bother me, but other things that do. Now, things that do bother me, they're mostly things that you get settled in, right? You get in this comfort, It's like living in a house for 15 years and moving, like that kind of thing. I've never moved.
Wow, really?
Oh,
No.
really? You've lived in the same house your entire life.
My whole life.
Wow.
But see, if my parents would have decided, like, even like 7 years ago, that they were gonna move, I would, maybe not be so comfortable with that. But again, if it was something that I initiated, although I'm very bad at initiating things, I like with those kind of decisions where it's like, okay, it's your choice. Like I'm that friend. Like, hey, do you want to hang out tonight? Sure. I love hanging out with people. I love doing that sort of thing. What do you want to do? I don't care. What do you want to do? I don't care.
You're one of those guys.
I'm one of those. It's what we want to do. I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? It's so sometimes initiating's. When other people can make a decision and I don't have to.
As long as you give them the power to.
Exactly. Yeah, as long as I.
See, I like stability for a lot of senses. You can get bored with it, but like I like stability and knowing like the rules and structures, because then you can push against them. You know your boundaries. You can see how far you can take it and keep going a little farther. Like knowing the structures and rhythms of things, you can just work around them, ignore them, or build upon them. Whereas if it's just like flux, then I don't.
Yeah.
Again, I guess it also sounds like a control thing, but
See, I like to know everything.
I do know everything.
No, I like if you introduce a system to me, I need to know everything about it in order to feel comfortable. Like say it always comes back to work for me because that's kind of on my brain right now. But like if I'm being trained in a new position or a new kind of job description at work, I need to know absolutely everything. So I'm there taking notes and everything because I need to know absolutely everything, because I know that I know that I know when something actually happens, I will panic and not know what to do. You may have told me, but if I didn't write it down and write down all the steps in descriptive detail, then I'm hooped.
See, I'm just lazy. I take a video on my phone.
I find that writing things down helps retain a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And then I have it to go back and look at.
If I'm studying, I can write out notes again and again, and it just sticks so much better than just reading it over and over.
With studying, though, for me, I can I'll take notes, but when I'm actually studying, I find that, say I'm taking, like in my program, there's some music history courses. When I would study for those exams, I'd get together with my friend John, and we would just go over the material and just talk about it and kind of like teach it to each other, like ask questions and then kind of explain, like, what did Schubert die of? Well, Schubert lived a really promiscuous lifestyle, so he died of syphilis. So
I didn't actually know who that was, but for some weird reason, I was going to get syphilis. So
anyway, going back to control and patience and everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've moved how many times? 5 times in the last 5 years. Yeah. So the fact that you've lived in the same house for however long is pretty cool. I like that.
That's really rare. I've moved 4 times in my life, which isn't even that many, but not even moving once is. Yeah.
I've moved cities 3 times. That's the worst.
Yeah. Because you feel like you're being
uprooted.
Yeah.
All your friends and everything are gone. And
yeah.
If you're in Edmonton, I miss you.
GP represent.
That's one thing that hits me harder when it comes to like control and relationships is friendships that that don't last. Because like I said, like I love people and I love hanging out with people and I love spending time with people, and when I spend time with people, that's important to me. It's one of my love languages.
Ooh.
If you want to pull that, do people still use that?
I think it's still going around. Yeah.
The book's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name, but a guy wrote a book about the
Steve McSteverson.
Yes. Look it up on Amazon.
Nice.
But anyway, he wrote a book called, I think it's the 5 or 7 love languages. I think
it's 5.
And there's different ways that we as people, according to this book, that express and also feel like we're loved.
Yeah.
Anyway, but one of my ways that I like to, show people that I care about them and that I, that I love them is spending time with them. It doesn't really matter what, but spending time. And I also love it when people spend time with me, because then I feel,
So you feel loved right now?
I do feel loved,
Nice.
having you guys in the room and then thinking about all the people that are listening to this right now.
Nice.
Or maybe aren't listening to this. That's something I got to work through. All the people that aren't listening. Yeah. So I really appreciate those moments that you spend time with people and people spend time with me. So, so then when people move on, like I have a harder time moving on when it comes to friends. Like I don't know if you guys empathize with this, but do you have those people that used to be your friends, but you feel like you're still friends with them? Or like if you see them in public and you're like, hey, how's it going? And they'll just be like, good. You know, like those, and you just can't help but feel, oh, you know, like I remember that one conversation we had and we were supposed to be friends, you know?
See, no, I think I'm the other guy in that. I remember in grade like 8 or something, some of my friends came to me at school like, did you hear so and so moved back? I was like, who? They're like, so and so, you know, you guys hung out a bunch. I was like, I have no idea. They started like, hey Tyrell. I was like, I don't remember your name.
You know, Tyrell, just not all of us are as popular as you. So stop lording that over us, please.
I'm also the other guy in that though. Like, yeah, people want to try to stay connected with me. I'm terrible at like keeping friendships over distance. Like Facebook is a little bit okay and texting and whatnot, but I'm just terrible at it. So my friends from like high school or college even now are like, they send me like little funny things or articles or whatever, and I'm like, thanks, that's awesome. Or often I'll just not even reply. I'm just that bad of a person. So if you're listening, I'm sorry. I apologize. I really am.
For all the people
sorry.
that Riley's ever snubbed.
Yeah, I'm bad at texting as well. James, you know.
I know that.
You know that very well.
Your phone isn't great.
Yeah, let's put it on.
He says it's his phone. I'm not entirely convinced. But.
Totally.
No, Riley does this thing where I'll text him, and then he'll think about answering, but he won't. Isn't that right, Riley?
Yes. I just don't know what to say. I don't
yeah.
want to sound stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forget. Because I have a bad memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. I don't forget about you. I
Oh.
just forget about the message.
Oh, okay, cool.
Someday you'll run up to, like, you won't see Riley for like 2 weeks at most. So, hey, Riley. He's like, oh, hey, who are you? And
Yeah.
Maybe I was joking about you being popular, Tyrell, but I think that might play into my, I'll call it insecurity about when it comes to people that are in my relationships, you know, because I remember everybody that I've ever like interacted with on more than just an acquaintance level. You know, I may not remember names. I'm kind of shaky with some names, but like I'll know people's faces. And I'll be like, oh, hey, we went to school together for 1 year, and then you left for whatever reason. You know, like I'll remember faces. And yeah, I'm that guy. I don't know if it comes off as clingy and I freak people out. Like when I first got my phone, or got a phone, I was crazy about it because I like text people all the time and people wouldn't answer, and I'd be like, why are people not answering my texts? Yeah. More I talk about it, yeah, I'm kind of that clingy friend. I've gotten better.
See, insecurities are interesting because like I didn't actually realize how popular I was in school. Like, I don't want to sound like I was that popular. But no, seriously, like, I had no idea. Like, I remember in grade 12 when I got my year.
Typical.
Like, I thought I was like that awkward friend that people just kind of lugged around out of guilt or shame or something. And like, I remember in grade 12, I got my yearbook. I was kind of like scrolling, like flipping through, and then at the back, you know, voted most likely or whatever. I got second place for 2 things. And I was like, I was just so like, this is impossible. Like, how did this happen?
Nice.
And my insecurities completely blinded me entirely to like how many friends I actually had or people I knew or whatever. So insecurities, man.
So what you're saying is that we should, rather than judging the popular people for being popular, we should be, you know, encouraging them and letting them know, you know what, you're an actual person too.
Yeah.
Tyrell, you're an actual person.
No, I gave up my citizenship years ago. So.
You're off the grid.
The government can't find me.
They can't find what they can't see.
But as a head note, I didn't want to sound super arrogant by saying I was super popular. In my mind, it seemed that, in hindsight, it seemed that I was super popular or relatively popular or somewhat popular. But in actuality, anyone I went to school with might disagree. So if you do, let me know, and I can have crippling insecurities again.
Restore my crippling.
I miss it.
Oh, I must feel blah again.
So you're talking about how time was very important to you. It's been a learning process to me about how important time is for other people. Like, after high school, I would spend a lot of time like, oh, like 4 different people want to hang out with me this Friday. I can make my time really efficient and hang out with all of them. And so like I'd hang out with all of them, none of them do each other. It was super awkward for them. It was like, this is great. Like I'm making time efficient, maximizing everything. This is awesome.
But you're being that guy.
Yeah. So I've learned that time is significant for some people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Not me. Words, what you say to me will crush or make me. So
Really?
I just gave you weapons.
Nice.
Okay. Tyrell, you're pretty awesome.
And with that, I'm
Oh
crushed.
my goodness, his head is growing. It is literally growing as we speak. I know you can't see it, but I'm looking at it right now.
My ego is just swelling and crushing them in the room.
His forehead just became a 5 head.
Yeah.
Riley sees it now too.
That's true.
Riley, what about you? Time, words,
You know
something
what?
else?
Gifts. That's another one.
I originally thought that it was time, but I think it's actually acts of service.
Really?
Yeah, because when I like the idea of time. I like the idea of my love language is spending time with people. So I kind of adhered to that for a while, and then I realized that if I come home and my wife made dinner, like I just feel really loved by that. Or if I come into my office and somebody has done something really nice for me, like gotten me like some sort of a gift or something like that. I guess that's gifts, but act of service, I think can tie into that as well. I just feel really loved by that. So like even if somebody helps, I'm a musician, so if somebody stays after and helps clean up, I feel love from that. And it's really interesting how I want it to be quality time, but I think it's actually acts of service. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
And do you feel like, because I know one thing, Gary Chapman, that's his name.
Yeah.
One thing he mentioned is that the way you feel loved can be different than the way you actually express it. So like in your case, you feel loved when someone will serve you or do something out of their way for you. Do you feel like is that how you feel like you express love to other people?
I feel, and this is a lesson I've learned in our since the time I've been married, is I want to give the way that I feel, that I want to feel. I feel love by acts of service, so I do acts of service. But my wife's love language is different than mine. She doesn't feel, well, she probably does, but not in the same kind of way. If I do something for her, that's not necessarily her love language. She has a different one. So I had to train myself to give her love language that she needs. And that was a really difficult revelation for me. Like, what do you mean? I did the dishes for you. You don't feel loved by that? She's like, eh. So
I
whatever.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
And that was a huge thing for me, because I was like, why don't you feel loved by this? What the heck? And then she would give me her love language, and I was like, whatever. Like, her love language is physical touch. So she likes to hold hands and hug and whatever like that. And it's like, I'm okay, whatever. I'll hold your hand. That's okay. But for me, it's like whatever, right? And so I'm washing dishes and cleaning the floor and cleaning the car and expecting her to feel really loved, when really all she wanted was just for me to hold her hand when we're in the mall. And
Simple things,
yeah, something simple like that.
Sure.
And that was a really interesting thing for me to learn. So I don't know. Would you say that you also give the way you want to receive?
I just like it when people like me. In my case, when it comes to relationships, I'm kind of whoops, I knocked my microphone. I gotta stop doing that.
I think we're at 2 this time.
Yeah, that's the second time. Let me think.
Unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, for me, I feel loved when people spend time with me and people. And when we say loved, I don't want people to get confused and say like I feel hated when maybe someone doesn't spend time with me. When I say loved, I mean I feel valued. I feel like people care about me. I feel better than good.
Good plus.
Does that make sense?
Good plus.
Hashtag blessed. Yeah, no. So it's not that I need people to spend time with me in order for me to feel, people have to spend time with me, otherwise I'm miserable. It's more so how I know that people don't just
say things or just do things. And
and so
it adds meaning.
So going into that, I love spending time with people, because I feel like I'm showing someone that I care about them. Another way that I like giving gifts to people. That's another one. That's one of my love languages as far as like outgoing love language, as far as as opposed to incoming. One of my outgoing love languages is I like giving gifts to people. I like getting things for people, or like if I go out for coffee with someone, I'll pay for the coffee. That's how I like to show people that we're more than just acquaintances, like that I actually care about you and our relationship, our friendship. I think I pretty much already said it before. That's how I know when it's more than just a casual friendship. When you come to that point where, okay, so I know my love language is maybe giving gifts to people, or my love language is spending time with people. But if I know that this person, rather than quality time, it's maybe their thing is acts of service. Not that I wouldn't be inclined to serve people, but maybe I'd kind of modify the way I treat our friendship, and strive to serve them more. That's when you're in a healthy relationship, when you're willing to, when you're again not compromising, but you're willing to go out of your way to be a blessing to that other person.
So I find that fascinating with you and gifts, because gifts to me are like a huge guilt driver, because like if someone buys it, it's like, oh God, I owe them something. and then I feel like I have to buy them something of equal value back, because like then it's like constantly nagging at me for like just months on end. Like they said it meant nothing, like I don't have to pay them or anything, or I don't have to pay them back, but I have to get them something. So some way at some point I have to like buy it back, and I'm like, I'm guilt free, and
I'm free. I'm like that sometimes too. Like someone will do something for me, and then I'll feel like say somebody buys me a smoothie or something. It's like, hey man, do you want something to drink? I'm like, oh sure, I'll get a booster juice or something. And then I'll feel like I need to do something for them to show that I'm grateful. But sometimes I get in that funk, like, oh, I gotta repay the debt.
So gifts to me are just not something like, I hate buying people gifts, because like, do they already have this? Will this mean anything to them? Will they ever use it? Like, it's always like these problems of like, I don't know what they have or what they want or anything, and I never know what to do with them.
So you're the gift card person.
Yeah. Or maybe if they mention that book, I'll buy it for them. Oh, you already have it? Mm-hmm. Here's the another copy. Yeah.
See, I don't mind buying gift cards for people. Like say Riley, it was your birthday, I would probably get you an iTunes card.
Fantastic.
Yeah. See, because it's just money, right? But if you and I had been friends for like several years, and we've had like a lot of conversations, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt you might have this is how I like to give. I don't just like to give things to people. I like to think about what would mean the most to people. So like say we had maybe like 2 conversations about Bass Pro Shop.
Nice.
And you said, you know what, I really like those hats. They're kind of funny, and this sort of thing. Those really, like, you see all the cool people that don't fish wear them.
That would be me.
But you might mention it in 2 conversations, but we might have like a really, a bonding conversation because of us talking about Bass Pro Shop hats. I would get you a Bass Pro Shop hat rather than a gift card, because I know that it would.
It's a little more meaningful.
It's more meaningful, more sentiment attached to it. That's how I kind of. But I'll give someone a gift card if I don't know them very well, or if I'm not quite sure. So don't feel bad, Tyrell. I was giving you I was making a joke at your expense, but
that's fine. Everyone does it. It's okay.
We need to stop recording.
No.
Crying. When are we going to come to that point?
What?
I'm kind of looking forward to that point.
When I break down on air?
When one of us breaks down just in the middle. It's like, I can't handle this.
Someday we'll be talking about something completely irrelevant. I'll just break. I'll just be done. I'll make it big.
We'll just be having a conversation and we won't even be paying attention to him, and he'll just be crying.
The chair will get thrown across the room, and
It's like I'm not even here. It's like
you guys want me to leave?
It's like
I'll leave.
I'm in a glass case of emotion. What is that from?
Anchorman.
Is that from Anchorman?
Yeah, that's from Anchorman.
Okay, because I quote it often, and I hear other people say it, but I always forget. I'm actually crying right now.
See, it's already happening.
Nice.
No, that's what happens when I do voices. When I do something different out of my regular talkie voice, my eyes will water.
Oh,
I don't know why that is. It's just
at least it's kind of socially acceptable. Me, I start crying if someone else around me is crying, or if there's a lot of emotion in the room. Like, I was one time at a friend's father's funeral. Like, I met their dad like twice or something. So I mean, it was sort of like a show support for them, but I couldn't help it. There was just so many people around me crying that I started crying, and she looks back at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm sorry, I can't help it. I
don't cry a lot. I like crying though. I know it's kind of counterintuitive according to the culture's perception of a man, but no, I actually enjoy crying because there's just like this euphoric after
emotional release. Yeah.
You know, I don't cry all the time. When I do, it's usually pretty meaningful, and you know, it's because of something actually, you know. I found that I can name like instance only one hand of me crying when I'm actually sad. I internalize a lot, so I don't really. It's gonna take a lot to kind of get to that breaking point. But I found that I've cried more when, like, I'm watching a sad movie or something like those. It's still sad, but it's not like genuine sadness. It's a construct by the creative being that that made that movie, because that's all a movie is. It's just a roller coaster of emotions that are meant to make me feel a certain way.
So what's the most embarrassing movie that you've cried in?
Embarrassing?
Yeah. I'll tell you mine while you think.
Yeah.
I was in a church in Edmonton. They had this event, and they were watching a movie, and it was Frozen. And at the very end scene, when Anna hugs, Anna hugs.
Spoiler alert,
Elsa.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen Frozen at least 15 times.
15 times. I just ended up crying. I don't know why. It was so embarrassing. There's like all these people around me, and they're just like looking at me like I'm the weirdest person ever. I'm like, it's so beautiful.
Trust me, you weren't the only one crying at that moment.
I know it was, but at least it wasn't in a huge room with a whole bunch of other people. Anyways, that's my most embarrassing.
I think
movie.
like Pixar. Pixar is probably the big hit for me. Like any and all of Pixar movies, I'd say like good 87% of Pixar movies I've cried in.
Nice.
The weirdest, maybe not so much embarrassing, but just weird, was Gran Torino.
Oh, that's a great movie though.
It's a great movie, and I'm not gonna say why I cried because that would spoil the entire movie. But the Clint Eastwood movie made me cry, so which felt kind of weird because Clint Eastwood is like this staple of what a masculine man should be, you know. But my sister, she cries with. It doesn't take a lot to make her cry in those, like if she's watching a movie or if I want to make her cry, because I'm a great older brother. I have to fulfill my quota, right? I gotta be annoying. All I have to do is play the soundtrack of The Lion King when Mufasa dies to make her cry. Wow. Or the opening theme to Finding Nemo or something. And that'll just make her go. I remember when we watched Toy Story 3 for the first time as a family, the four of us, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I. And the end, Andy's giving away his toys. Spoiler alert. And I feel like I need to do that. But I know people have seen Toy Story 3, and if they aren't, then... No, Andy's giving away his toys, and my sister starts crying, and when she cries, she kind of she's quite vocal, you know, whereas some people are more just weepy and they don't make a lot of noise. She's like you know, And I was already like, I had the lump in my throat, and I was kind of welling up at this point. But as soon as she started crying, I went. My mom started crying, and my dad, who doesn't normally cry, and I hope he's okay with me sharing this on the internet. We all four of us were like sobbing. My sister has that effect on people. I challenge any person to be in the room while my sister's genuinely crying, and not feel like they need to cry as well.
For me, I can't even remember what it was. Like a really trashy romance movie. Actually, it was a rom-com, and it was, I can't even remember its name. It was that trashy, but for some reason, I just started crying at the end. I'm like, what is happening? Like, I need ice cream and chocolate.
I just need to be alone. You wrap yourself up in a blanket.
I really honestly cannot remember
I
what
need
it was.
a snuggie.
But for some reason, just I don't know what was going on at the time. It just struck a chord. Like it was, I think like a year after I graduated high school, and for whatever reason, I was sitting there watching it, and I just started crying. It was really good. I was watching it alone because it was like if someone was around, I would. I don't even know, but it's the most worst movie I cried to, I think. I can't even remember what it was, honestly. Yep.
Nice. Rom-coms are bad for that.
Yeah. Again, they're just toying with you. All right. Well, I think we're running out of time here. I think we can kind of end it for now, and then
tell us the lamest movie
that you've cried in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave it in the whatever comments section that you happen to be on and not trolling.
Send us a tear-stained letter.
Yes. We will read them and not cry. Yeah. Do you guys have any closing remarks before we shut down this episode?
No.
Stay hydrated, kids.
Drink orange juice.
So you can cry orange tears.
It's better than apple juice.
Yeah. Be kind of stingy. Although orange juice would be stingy too.
Yeah.
If you're ever worried about
Sticky.
If you're ever worried about people making fun of you as a guy for crying in a movie, just say you're leaking testosterone. It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll remember that one next time I go to Up.
First 10 minutes.
Anyway, thanks for listening, and let us know what makes you cry. and check out the article too that we were talking about originally, and give us your thoughts on it. Otherwise,
Sayonara.
Signing off, the Orange Juice crew.
Peace.
I feel like we need some kind of chant. But anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay.
See you later. Have a good one.
Bye.